Once upon a time, in a small village called Ayetoro, people lived in peace, surrounded by thick forest and endless farmland. But there was one mystery that no one dared to speak about too much: the hauntingly beautiful song that filled the air every night. The song came from the forest, a place the villager called Awiri, the forbidden woods. The melody was soft and sweet, like a mother's lullaby, yet it sent chills down anyone's spine. Nobody dared to enter Awiri to find the source of the song. It was said that the forest belonged to the spirits, and they didn't like to be disturbed. But everything changed when a boy named Ayomide decided to do what no one else could. Ayomide was only 12, but he was known for his courage. His friends called him Omoakikanju, a brave child. One evening, as the village elders gathered to discuss the strange song again, Ayomide stood up. "Why are we afraid of his song?" he asked, his small voice clear and bold. "What if it's not the spirit? What if someone needs our help?" The elders shook their heads. "Awiri is not for humans. Stay away from there, Ayomide," one of them warned. "Anyone who enters the forest never returns." But Ayomide's mind was made up. That night, while the moon shone bright and the sun began once more, he took a lantern, his father's machete, and his late mother's bead for protection. Then, without telling anyone, he walked into Awiri. The forest was darker and scarier than Ayomide had imagined. Trees twisted like they were alive, and shadows danced in the moonlight. The air was cold, and the song was louder now, pulling him deeper. As he walked, he saw things that made him question if he was dreaming. A glowing butterfly the size of his palm flustered past him. A tree whispered his name, and then he saw it, a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the middle of the clearing, there was a river, and by the river, Ayomide saw her. She was beautiful, glowing like the moon, her hair long, flowing like a waterfall. She was singing. But she wasn't human. Her feet didn't touch the ground, and her eyes sparkled like stars. She was a spirit. Ayomide hid behind a tree, his heart pounding. He wanted to run, but something held him there. The spirit turned suddenly, as if she sensed him. "Who is there?" she asked, her voice soft but commanding. Ayomide stepped forward. "I am Ayomide, from the village. Who are you?" The spirit smiled. "I am Abeni, the keeper of this forest." Her smile faded. "Why are you here, Ayomide? Humans are not allowed in Awiri. It is forbidden." "I wanted to know why you're singing every night," Ayomide said honestly. "Your song, it makes us afraid." Abeni looked sad. "My song is not to scare anyone. It is a warning. A long time ago, the spirits made a pact with your ancestors. The humans were never to enter Awiri, and we would protect your village from harm. But now, the pact is breaking." Ayomide frowned. "Breaking? How?" Abeni floated closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Someone from your village broke the pact. They came into the forest and they took something that belonged to us." "What did they take?" Ayomide asked. Before Abeni could answer, the ground began to shake. The moonlight in the clearing dimmed, and a deep rumbling voice echoed through the forest. "Abeni, you have said too much." Out of the shadows stepped another spirit, taller and fiercer than Abeni. His eyes burned like fire and his voice was like thunder. "This boy should not be here," the spirit growled. "He must pay for his trespass." "No," Abeni cried, stepping in front of Ayomide. "He's just a child. Let him go." The fierce spirit glared at Ayomide. "The pact is broken because of your people. If the stolen item is not returned by the next full moon, your village will face the wrath of Awiri. Ayomide trembled but stood his ground. What was stolen? He asked again. The spirit sneered. A golden staff, our symbol of peace. Without it, the balance is broken. Abeni turned to Ayomide, her glowing eyes filled with worry. You must leave now, Ayomide. Go back to your village and tell them what you have learned. But remember, time is running out. Before Ayomide could say another word, the forest seemed to come alive. Vines wrapped around him gently, and he was lifted off the ground. The last thing he saw was Abeni's sad face before the vines carried him back to the edge of the forest. When Ayomide returned to the village, it was almost dawn. He tried to tell the elders what had happened, but they refused to believe him. A golden staff? Spirit? Nonsense! One of them said. But Ayomide knew what he saw, and as the day passed, strange things began to happen in the village. Crops started to wither, the river dried up, and every night the song grew louder and more sorrowful. Ayomide knew he had to act, but how could he find the stolen staff when no one believed him? And who in the village had dared to enter Awiri and take it? As the full moon approached, Ayomide stood at the edge of the forest once more, clutching his mother's beads. He knew what he had to do, but as he stepped into the darkness, a shadow moved behind him. Someone was following him. Who was it? Was it a friend? Or the one who had stolen the golden staff? Find out in the next part.